students, my name is Vishali Karandikar. I am taking 8th ICSE Biology. I am teaching you the lesson number 1, which is transportation in plants. In earlier section, we have sum up to the osmosis, the process of osmosis, the vascular bundles, vascular tissues present, what is their function. Now we are moving ahead towards the nutrients. What type of nutrients present in plant or in the soil. So this is the experiment we have already explained in the earlier session. Now here soil is having many nutrients with it. Now what type of nutrients are there? So nutrients are required for what? Growth, development and synthesis of materials and overall health of the plant. Obviously, we are also required some nutrients. We have already studied in digestive system, in nutrients, that human body is also required some nutrients. That is why our food is carrying all type of nutrients which is helpful for our body, right? Same way, plants also require nutrients. So there are two types of nutrients present which is required by the plants. They are macronutrients and micronutrients. Now what are the macronutrients? Macronutrients are nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, sulfur, magnesium and all. Micronutrients are boron, chlorine, manganese, iron, zinc, copper, molybdenum and nickel in very few amount. Now here macronutrients are required by the plants in large amount, but micronutrients required by the plant but in a very small amount. Macronutrients are in a large quantity required, but not like that. Micronutrients are very small enough for the plant. Now here, if the macronutrients or the micronutrients are not there, what are the deficiency diseases occur or we can see in the plant? That what are the deficiency diseases? Just look at this slide. So nutrients deficiency diseases in plants. So like we are also having some diseases like beriberi, ricket and many more when we are losing or we are lacking of particular nutrient. Fine. So here nutrient deficiency diseases in plants are nitrogen deficiency, means when the nitrogen is not there sufficiently present. What are the things or what are the symptoms we can see in the plant? That loss of green color in the plant means when the leaves are turning yellow, it shows that the plant is not having nitrogen sufficiently, and deficiency of nitrogen is showing in the yellowish leaves. Leaves become yellow and then die. This is because of the nitrogen deficiency. Now here phosphorus deficiency. There are many deficiencies, but out of that I have taken 3 to 4 deficiencies over here. Now phosphorus deficiency, the plants shows stunted growth. Stunted growth means they are not having enough growth. They are showing green color, they are growing, but lengthwise they are not showing any symptoms. Then older leaves become brown. Here the older leaves become yellow or the leaf become yellow and die. Here the older leaves become brown. Now the potassium deficiency. Chlorotic spots were seen on leaves edges. Chlorotic spots means you can see somewhere the whitish spots on the leaves. That is showing the deficiency of potassium in that particular plant. Now roots become weak. When the roots become weak, they are not able to absorb water, nutrients and all, and that is why the plant is not getting sufficient water, results in early death of the plant. Fine. Now we are moving ahead. Absorption of minerals. Now earlier session we have discussed about the movement of water. Now here we are discussing about the absorption of minerals, because water also carries minerals with them. So obviously with the water, some minerals also come inside in the cell, and then through the xylem it reaches to the leaves too. So here there are two type of transport. First is diffusion, another one is active transport. Now what is diffusion? Diffusion is also somehow the same way as the osmosis, but the only difference between the diffusion and the osmosis is there is no semi-permeable membrane in between. They can directly go from their higher concentration to their lower concentration in direct contact. That is the very important difference between the osmosis and diffusion. So the diffusion is what? Diffusion is the movement of molecules. Now these molecules contain nutrients also, like we have already discussed. Nutrients from a region of their higher concentration to a region of their lower concentration. If the concentration of minerals ions are higher in the soil, in the root hair cell, then these ions move inside the cell by diffusion. Now you are having the question in your mind. See, now you have shown that all the water molecules are getting inside. See, I am talking about the water molecules when I am explaining osmosis. Here I am explaining the minerals which are ready to enter in the cell. See the difference between the term diffusion and term osmosis. The term osmosis is dealing with the only movement of water molecule, but the diffusion term is dealing with the macro or the micronutrients embedded in the water molecules. So this is the difference between the osmosis and the diffusion here. So here the diffusion is what? From their higher concentration. Now what form their higher concentration? Obviously soil is more than the root hair. This is the root hair, here is the soil. This is the root hair and here is the soil. So obviously higher concentration is outside. This is the higher concentration of what? Minerals in soil. Now they are ready to get inside in the cell. The process of getting inside in the cell, nutrients, that is called diffusion. Now one more term is there, that is active transport. So what is this active transport? Active transport is the movement of molecules from a region of their lower concentration to a region of their higher concentration by using energy. This is a very important term, last term, that is energy. Now here the higher concentration of minerals are getting inside in the cell. Fine. Now cell is embedded with the water molecules also, with some minerals also along with the water molecules, and many of the things are present in the cell. Now from this up to the xylem, who is going to distribute? Here comes the active transport. I can show it again in a very particular diagram, that this is a cell, is nutrients are inside it. The cell is embedded with the nutrients, minerals, everything. Now from here they all are accumulated. Now from here, how these nutrients will be sent towards the xylem, which is present in between. So here they require some energy. Now here why it is written from their lower concentration to the higher concentration. Now here from there they are moving ahead towards the xylem by using energy in the form of ATP. ATP means adenosine triphosphate. This is the ATP form which is generated inside the root, and because of this ATP they are using this energy, and through this energy they are sending now these all molecules towards the xylem. Understood? This is the way the active transport and the diffusion simultaneously with the help of osmosis, the water is now start moving upwards towards the leaf. Fine. This is very much clear, I think. Now, the second one is ascent of sap. What is this word sap? Sap means the organelles, or we can say the fluid present inside the cell. Some fluid-like structure, watery fluid thick structure is called sap. Sap. And ascent of sap. Ascent of sap means ascent means upward, going upwards, or the sap is transported, or the sap is converted into the, that is called ascent of sap. Now what is the ascent of sap over here? This ascent of sap, the solution of water and minerals inside the xylem is called ascent of sap. Means whatever the solution comes through this and towards the xylem, every cell is having a sap. Every cell, not only the xylem, because xylem is also having many more cells inside it. We have taken only two things, that is vessels and tracheids. But here the xylem is also having many of the cells, and inside that cells there is some fluid-like structure which is called sap. So now the solution of water and mineral present, together solution of water and mineral inside the xylem is called ascent of sap. The movement or flow of the sap from the roots to the aerial parts of the plant is called ascent of sap towards the leaf process or movement of the sap. Now root pressure, one more term is there, root pressure. What is that root pressure? What do you mean by root pressure? A simple language, root is having some pressure by which? By getting the water inside it. Every time the water is coming inside it, and this cell is also making turgid, or we can say the cell is swollen up. So under this cell the pressure is created, which is called root pressure. But now we see what is the root pressure. The continuous movement of water from the soil to the roots give rise to a pressure called root pressure. Now, when the water is coming inside the cell, one stage will come that this cell is now not able to accommodate more water in it. Result in that, it will swell up. And now here the osmosis work. Now from this cell, the next cell which is present over here, the osmosis start. Means the water content from this cell is passing to the next cell. So here osmosis starts. Now diffusion is also there. Now diffusion is what? Here the lower concentration of the molecules. Here the higher concentration of molecules. But what? Here the fluid is less. Here the fluid is more. So here the diffusion starts in the direct contact, and the active transport is also there. That active transport is using energy in the form of ATP, and then these all goes to the xylem. This is called the root pressure, which is created inside in the cell when the water is taken by the root and it's swollen up. Obviously when it's swollen up, it is creating the pressure inside it, and this pressure is now allowing them to perform osmosis, and this osmosis happen over here, and through this osmosis, diffusion and active transport, this all water, minerals, which whatever is coming inside in this cell is goes towards the xylem. This is called the root pressure. Now one more term is transpiration. What is transpiration? Now all water is coming in xylem, xylem to leaf. Now leaf are having much water because we are putting water in the soil. So obviously water is absorbed by the root, goes to the xylem, xylem conducted water, ultimately it reaches to the leaf. Now this leaf is having sufficient amount of water which is not required by it. So what happened? It start transpire. Transpiration is start. Transpiration means what? The loss of water vapor by the aerial parts of the plant is known as transpiration. Loss of water vapor, the process of loss of water vapor through the aerial parts of the plant. Now what are the aerial plants? Stem, branches, leaves, buds, flowers, fruits. These all are the aerial parts of the plant. Now these aerial parts of the plant, when the water is transpired in the atmosphere through the plant, is known as transpiration. We can show this by a very simple experiment. We can take a potted plant, then we covered that potted plant with a transparent polythene or bell jar, which is generally present in biology lab. So we covered that potted plant by, this is the potted plant. So when I kept this whole setup for 5 to 6 hours, after 5 to 6 hours, what I am going to see that some water droplets, these are the water droplets inside the sheet. It clearly shows that the aerial parts of the plant transpire water in the form of water vapor, which is collected inside the sheet. This is the very good experiment to show how transpiration work or how plant transpire. So very simple activity, very less things required. It can be done in school also, at home also, but with the help of parents. So this is the transpiration. Now we are coming to the type of transpiration. Type of transpiration means, okay, transpiration is also having type, yes, because plant is divided into so many parts. That is why the transpiration occur from these parts, not only from the leaves, as I am showing over here. Like cuticular transpiration, lenticular transpiration and stomatal transpiration. Out of this, stomatal transpiration is very important, and the most of the transpiration is done by the stomatal transpiration. But before we are proceeding on the stomatal transpiration, I am going through the cuticular transpiration and lenticular transpiration. For that, I am just showing you that one leaf, see this is the one leaf, this is the midrib, so this is the leaf. We are knowing that this is the stalk, lamina, midrib and all, whatever. So here one thin sheet is also observed, which is a glossy, waxy. You have seen many of the leaves when we are holding the leaf. It shows that this is a glossy, like upper surface is glossy somehow. That is cuticle. That is cuticle. So that is cuticle, which is the uppermost part of the leaf, and from there also some transpiration is occur. So this is called the cuticular transpiration, or we can say the transpiration is done by the cuticle is called cuticular transpiration. It is percentage of this cuticular transpiration is very few, like 3 or 4% of water is lost through the cuticle of the leaf, right? Now coming to the lenticular transpiration. This is the stem and here the leaf is present. This is the stem. We are having a old bark stem. Bark, you know, old woody stem, or we can say normal stem also. That stem is also having some pores present over here. They are called lenticels. So this stem, and in this stem some pores are present. They are called lenticels, and the water is transpired through these lenticels are called lenticular transpiration. Understood? So we have discussed two types of transpiration. That is, first is the cuticular transpiration, which is generally seen in the leaves, because the leaves are covered with a thin sheet, glossy sheet, waxy sheet, differ from the leaf to leaf. But generalized leaf is having a waxy coating or covering. That waxy coating or covering is called cuticle, and through this cuticle some water is transpired in the atmosphere, is called the cuticular transpiration. Then come to the lenticular transpiration. In the stem, old woody stem, it is generally happen, but in normal stem also, which is green, that is also some pores present in this stem. That pores are called lenticels, and through this lenticel the water is coming out in the atmosphere, is called lenticular transpiration. Now the very important stomatal transpiration. Now this stomatal transpiration is how and where it happen. Say this is the leaf we are taking. We are taking the TS of the leaf. TS means transverse section, or we can say longitudinal section also. We are cutting the leaf like that, okay? So in that we are seeing that this is a cuticle, this is the epidermis. Between these epidermis there are some this type of structure present here. This is called stomata. So under the cuticle there is one layer of epidermis. We have seen already epidermis in the root, okay? Then this epidermis is having a kidney shape, or we can say Rajma beans. I am enlarging this stomata here. This stomata is present in between the epidermis, and especially the dorsal side. See, this is the ventral side of my palm, this is the dorsal side, okay? Same way the leaf is also having one glossy structure which is the ventral side, and some rough structure that is the dorsal side. So the stomatas are more often present on the dorsal side of the leaf. Dorsal side means back side of the leaf. Front side is also having, but very few stomatas, okay? The reason we will afterward discuss, but then this type of stomatas are present, which is called a guard cell. These are called guard cells, and this guard cell is embedded by some cells. Like these are cells, here also cells. Like this is the structure of leaf. First is cuticle, then epidermis, then some mesophyll cells. In between the stomatas are present. Now I am enlarging this stomata, and outside I am showing some of these cells. Fine. Now this guard cell is, the whole structure is called stomata. And when we see the stomata is nothing, only the combination of two guard cells which are joined like this, and they are having a stomatal aperture which is called stoma. Aperture means a space between these two guard cells. Fine. Now the water when taken by the roots conducted toward by the xylem and reaches to the leaves. Now the accumulation of water is there in the leaf. Leaf want to get rid of this water. Then what happened? This water comes from these cells to these cells. Now these cells are swallow. So this aperture become widen. Now this aperture become widen, so this all water molecules come here and transpire in the atmosphere. Means when the water through the xylem reaches to the leaf, this leaf is having a stomatal opening over here. This stomata looks like that. In between the aperture like structure which is called stomatal aperture, this aperture opens and the water vapor present in the leaf escapes through this aperture. So in this way the stomatal transpiration is occur. So this is the way we are having the transpiration, the type of transpiration, cuticular transpiration, lenticular transpiration, stomatal transpiration. All we have done two types of active transport and diffusion. We have already learned about the osmosis. We have seen the activities present for the osmosis. One activity we have seen for the transpiration also, and now we are coming to the type of transpiration. So the today's homework is, first of all, what is the function of xylem? What is the function of phloem? Write it down. What are the components of xylem? What are the components of the phloem? Name of that components, write it down. Fine. The question 1. The question 2 is the structure of root hair with the epidermis, with the plasma membrane, and the definition of osmosis, diffusion, active transport, transpiration, root pressure. These 5 definitions you have to write and learn. Same way, if the activities if you have gone through, we are taking it in an experimental basis, or for the internal marks, we can take these activities for your internal assignments also. So take care of these activities also, and if you are having any journals or any other type of notebook, you can just note it down, these 2 activities at least. The first one is the laboratory method of the osmosis, and the second one is the transpiration, shows how the transpiration is possible in potted plant. So these are the things we have finished in today's session. So before that we have seen everything like xylem, phloem and this all. In this session we have completed about the nutrients which are present in the soil. Macronutrients, micronutrients. Micronutrients used in a less quantity, macronutrients used by plants in a large quantity. Then deficiency diseases of nutrients, we have seen nitrogen deficiency, phosphorus deficiency, potassium deficiency. After that we came to the ascent of sap. Ascent of sap or absorption of water. Then ascent of sap we have seen what is the ascent of sap. Then we come to the root pressure. Then after the root pressure we come to the transpiration. And in transpiration we have seen 3 types of transpiration, which is a cuticle transpiration, lenticular transpiration, stomatal transpiration. Stomatal transpiration is having a guard cell, having an aperture between them. This is called stoma. When the water is coming inside in this guard cell, they swollen up. In the result, aperture widens and the water escapes from this stomata in the atmosphere. So in this way, we have finished up to the transpiration. In the next session, we are going to learn about some more terms and some more experiments for this lesson. Thank you.